what did you make of the ruling yesterday by the Division I Board of Directors on how to rein in, if you will, these collectives and what constitutes being a booster in this NIL world, Jay?
It's sort of typical, Rich, of the NCAA. They want to control every nickel that goes to an athlete. And they were dragged kicking and screaming into this by different states that passed NIL legislation, starting with California and then Florida and others. And then with the ass kicking they took at the United States Supreme Court level, that killed, in the Alston case, that killed amateurism. So amateurism is now dead. And what they're trying to do, then they move the goalpost, to use a sports analogy, to say, well, so now it's not amateurism. Now you just can't be employees, and there can't be any inducements to get someone to go to a school or to stay at a school. It's got to be for your name, image, and likeness that's separate from the school. So typical of competition in the free market, these collectives have popped up, and they're 501c3 corporations largely. And how most of them work is they'll cut a deal with the player. The coach will go and say, hey, we're going to need $400,000 to get this player that we want, whether out of the transfer portal or somewhere else. So they'll deal with the player, the player's representatives, cut a contract, and the player will have to do charity work spread out over a year or two, or appearances or autograph signings or things like that in order to get the money. So it'll be some sort of retention thing. They feel good about, hey, he's doing charity work, that he or she is doing charity work, that kind of thing. But really all it is the same as a scholarship. We're providing this so you'll come here and you'll stay here. And when the NCAA says, well, we don't want pay for play, that's exactly what a scholarship is. It's just capped pay for play. And so the idea that this is antithetical to what college sports is about, and all the coaches and ADs are complaining, when they sign a contract and make millions of dollars, it's just business. But when a player does it, now, everybody's hair is on fire, and we've got, something that's going to shake the very foundation of college sports. And the truth is, it's just business. And this is where it's headed. And before long, because I think the NCAA and the member institutions are going to lose any lawsuit that comes its way about restricting athlete compensation, at some point in the near future, schools will just be signing players to contracts, and we'll get on to sort of the normal business aspect of it, and it'll be orderly and it'll do just fine.
Well, Jay, I mean, just to hit this a little bit harder, it seems to me, based on my layperson's view of it, that the board of directors just recast what constitutes a booster and threw the collectives into that, and saying that you can't have any contact with an athlete, their family members, or anybody prior to them joining the school, and that's what they did. Did I misread that? Did I miss something here on that?
That's what they're saying, but nothing is going to come of it until they sanction someone. Whether they sanction the collective or with they can disassociate people like they did in certain cases in the past with what they call boosters. But, it's funny, they don't have a problem with a booster. Nobody said, hey, it's inappropriate for a booster to give a bunch of money to build athletic facilities, or it's inappropriate for a booster to give a bunch of money to have a coach fired or hired, which happens all the time. It's only inappropriate when it has to do with an athlete. And what that ignores is the plain truth that these schools want to pay these players because it's happening. And any president of a university could put a stop to this by saying, we're not going to do this, and we're not going to take any player that you're talking to. But they need those players. And, look, I got a text recently from an assistant coach at a place where a player just got an $800,000 deal, 2 years, $400,000 a year, and said, this guy's making more than I am. And you're saying, well, he's worth more. I mean, that's the truth. The player's worth more than the assistant coach. But we never seem to – we've always said the players aren't worth anything. The NCAA's always said that. The players aren't really worth anything. The value's in the institution and the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back. And when it opened up a little bit, they found out pretty quickly that was a lie. These players have tremendous value in the marketplace, and as soon as it opens up a little bit, that value is being realized. And it's going to be realized even more. This is not the end of it. It's just the beginning.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.